14 people with strangely unusual body features. Everyone is born with strengths and weaknesses, and some are born with certain attributes that make them stick out from the rest. Have you ever seen a bearded woman? What about a man with an elastic body? If you want to see what different looks like, stay tuned as we count down 14 people with strangely unusual body features. At number 14, Sriharshi Hal, the man with the longest fingernails in the world, has finally cut them off. After being chastised by a teacher for breaking his long nail, Sriharshi Hal of Pune, India began to grow his fingernails on his left hand when he was 14. He is currently 82 years old. He also has the world's longest fingernails on a single hand. Chihal travelled to the United States and had his nails clipped using a tiny circular saw during a New York ceremony. They're on display at the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in Times Square. What is the exact length of the nails? The thumbnail is the longest, measuring 6.5 feet long, according to Guinness. According to Guinness, his nails had a combined length of 29 feet, 10.1 inches, roughly the same length as a London bus when they were last measured. Chihal's unique decision to grow his nails this long did not prevent him from leading a normal life. He married, had 2 children, and worked as a photographer professionally. Chihal is unable to open his left hand from a closed position or flex his fingers because of his decision to grow his nails that long. At number 13, Ayanna Williams. Ayanna Williams, the woman with the world's longest fingernails, has formally split with her grand manicure after clipping her nails with an electric rotary cutter, according to Guinness World Records. Since letting her fingernails grow from their original conformation in 2017, Houston-based Ayanna has broken her own record for the longest fingernails on a pair of hands for a woman, with a new length of 24 feet and 0.7 of an inch. This is the first time Ayanna had cut off her nails since the early 1990s, so it was an emotional, bittersweet goodbye when she eventually had to let them go. Ayanna has been growing her nails for over 28 years. In some ways, the trait has become an integral part of her identity. The Texan has always enjoyed nails and nail art even as a child. She remembers asking her mother to examine her nails to see how long they were and whether she could paint them different colors. Ayanna has made her childhood fantasies come true since she was a child. More recently, 3 or 4 bottles of nail paint were required, and Ayanna had to do the work over several days. Ayanna struggled with her long nails daily, preventing her from doing things like washing the dishes and putting sheets on the bed. But now that her nails had been reduced, she will be able to do a lot more with ease. At number 12, Gary Turner. People, meet Gary Turner. He's the guy with the supplest skin on the planet. Due to a rare medical ailment known as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, Gary can stretch his skin on his stomach to a swollen length of 6.25 inches. The illness is a connective tissue ailment that affects the skin, ligaments, and internal organs. The collagen that reinforces the skin and dictates its elasticity becomes deficient in this disorder, leading in the loosening of the skin and hypermobility of the joints, among other problems. It can result in the deadly collapse or rupturing of blood arteries in more acute situations. Gary has always been aware that his skin was unique, and his uncles used to enjoy showing it off to their friends when he was a tiny child. He went on to claim that he has lots of skin on his tummy, neck, and arms when asked whether there are other portions of his skin that stretch. His hands and feet are not as flexible. Stretching is completely painless. However, some components of the illness, such as his joints, are excruciatingly painful. At number 11, Isaac Johnson. Isaac Johnson, a kid from the United States, holds the Guinness World Record for the world's widest mouth gape. Isaac can vertically swallow a tennis ball, a soda can, a huge apple, or a medium pizza piece. Yes, Isaac holds the world record for the largest gape in a mouth. His huge mouth gape record of 4 inches has been regained thanks to a video uploaded on Facebook. The video has gotten a lot of positive feedback, and you'll probably be surprised as well. Isaac's jaw gape may be seen being measured in the video. Isaac's jaw gape measured 3.67 inches when he was only 14 years old. Philip Angus, a local, had broken his record with a measurement of 3.75 inches. Isaac found his mouth gape had gotten larger in 2020, allowing him to reclaim the title. At number 10, Mohammed Khalid. A young boy who suffers from an unusual condition that causes him to have enormous hands has had a life-changing operation to reduce their size. Mohammed Khalid was known as the boy with the world's biggest hands before undergoing drastic surgery to lessen the size of his hands. The 8-year-old was born with a condition that caused his hands and limbs to grow to enormous proportions, weighing a whopping 26 pounds each. Khalim's parents, who earned less than $20 a month, couldn't afford doctors, but were able to get him to a local village hospital where he was diagnosed but not treated. Khalim's colossal hands, which were caused by macrodactyly or local gigantism, swelled to 1 foot in length from wrist to fingertips, leading to suspicious folk to believe that he was cursed because he lived in one of India's poorest places. The boy was mocked by the villagers, who dubbed him the Devil's Child, and he was even denied admission to school. Khalim's professors said they wouldn't be able to accept him. They said that his large hands would scare the other children. As a result, he was rejected for admission. As he grew older, Khalim's capacity to perform even the most basic daily duties deteriorated. He struggled to dress himself, eat, or even bathe because of his huge hands, each weighing more than 5.5 pounds. The 8-year-old, however, has recently received support from medical professionals in South India because of international media attention. Dr. Raja Sabapathy, a pioneering hand surgeon recognized for his skill in microsurgery, was brought to the Mohammed family when Khalim's parents had practically given up on medical treatment and were accepting their son's death as God's will. Dr. Sabapathy agreed to work with Khalim on strengthening his hand strength. Multiple procedures have substantially improved the boy's condition, and more surgeries are planned to further improve the situation. At number 9, Mehmed Ozyurek. The nose of a Turkish man has been recognized as being the longest feature on a human face. Turkey's Mehmed Ozyurek was featured on a television show where he was judged to have the longest nose. His nose measures 8.8 centimeters in length. However, according to the authority on records, this may not be the world's longest nose because accounts from the 1770s claim that an English circus performer named Thomas Wedders had a 19-centimeter long nose. Take a look at that schnozola. Even if it's not the biggest nose on the planet, it's still humongous. At number 8, Kim Goodman. Kim Goodman's eyeballs can protrude 0.47 inches beyond her eye sockets. In 2007, her eyes were measured in Istanbul, Turkey. Measuring the pop is a precise science that requires the use of a proptometer by an optometrist. The final eye-watering result is based on an average of 3 measurements. The term proptosis refers to an eyeball displacement or bulging eyes. Kim found her gift after being smacked in the head with a hockey mask, and she can now pop her eyeballs out on command. At number 7, Eunices Eyelashes. Did you know that a Chinese woman has the world record for longest eyelashes at 20.5 centimeters? Since 2016, a woman named Yu Jiangxia has held the Guinness World Records distinction for having the longest eyelashes. Yu Jiangxia's eyelashes were 12.4 centimeters long on the top eyelid of her left eye when the record was initially made in 2016. In 2015, she first noticed that her eyelashes were lengthening. Her lashes grew longer and longer with each passing day. For those unfamiliar with Yu Jiangxia's lashes, they were always long, but the longest lashes were once again on her left upper eyelid. Jiangxia also saw several doctors and medical professionals to figure out why her eyelashes were constantly sprouting. She looked for scientific explanations, such as genes, but no one was able to provide her with a definitive answer. She was perplexed as to why she had such long eyelashes, but she remembered spending over 480 days in the mountains many years ago. Therefore, she believes the eyelashes were a gift from the Buddha. Her lengthy lashes are also a great blessing for Yu Jiangxia because she doesn't have to wear eyeshadow or eyeliner. Her lengthy lashes serve as a natural eyeliner. She wants to encourage people who have a special gift to share their joy and happiness. At number 6, Jason Hernandez. Jason Hernandez of Maracay, Venezuela, already knew he possessed the world's largest feet at the age of 10. Jason achieved a new record for the largest feet on a living human male in 2014, which was increased in 2016 when his right foot measured 1.31 feet and his left foot measured 1.30 feet. He was tormented as a child because of his large feet, and buying shoes has never been easy for him. However, since 2011, Jason's original school sandals have been housed in George Wessel's museum in Germany, where he has been designing new shoes with specific materials just for him. Since Jason was having trouble fitting on a plane, George flew out to Venezuela to meet him and provide him with his first pair of shoes. But for the 22-year-old, 2018 has been a watershed moment. When he couldn't find any that fit in his hometown, Jason had to walk to school in sandals cobbled from old tires and fabric. His record-breaking feet have grown even more, with the right now measuring 1.33 feet and the left now measuring 1.32 feet, despite him having therapy to keep them from growing any further. Although the world is familiar with Jason's story as the person with the world's largest feet, his long-term ambition is to work as a top chef, preparing cakes with a variety of flavors blended. To be honest, we can't wait to try Jason's cakes. And number 5, Adrian Lewis. Adrian Lewis has the world's largest tongue, measuring 4 inches long. The 18-year-old from Michigan has gained a reputation for having a tongue that Kiss rocker Gene Simmons would be proud of on social media. Lewis feels that she has what it takes to break the Guinness World Record, even though she has yet to be formally judged. Nick Stolberl, whose tongue measures 3.97 inches, now holds the distinction. Lewis started a YouTube channel 2 years ago, and her lengthy licker has gone global since then, with thousands of people watching her roll and twist her incredibly long tongue. She can lick her nose, chin, elbow, and even her eyeball. She believes she might have inherited it. However, she believes that with time and her being the odd kid she was, always sticking her tongue out, it could have extended. At number 4, Nick Stolberl. With his long 3.97-inch licker, Nick Stolberl set a new record for the longest tongue in 2012. Nick's father was a great Kiss fan, and as a kid he would replicate Gene Simmons' notorious tongue posture, discovering for the first time that his tongue was longer than others. Nick is a painter who paints with his tongue on a canvas. He's also a joker who enjoys drawing attention to his tongue by announcing that he can lick not only his nose, but also his elbow. Hey, this is Nick Stolberl, and he has the world's longest tongue. He's in the Guinness World Records book, they say, every time he meets someone new. So when he meets someone, he has to instantly shove his tongue out at them, and people are always fascinated when they meet him and see his tongue. At number 3, Sultan Khosan. Sultan Khosan of Turkey is the world's tallest man alive today. Sultan, 38, was 8 foot 2.8 inches tall when he was last officially measured in 2018. Sultan is 8.8 inches taller than Yao Ming and over a foot taller than Shaquille O'Neal, to put things in perspective. Sultan is one of the most recognizable members of the Guinness World Records family, and his colossal stature has earned him international acclaim. In addition to being the world's tallest man, he also has the world's largest hands, measuring 11.22 inches from wrist to middle fingertip. Average size objects can feel quite little when you're over 8 feet tall, and simple chores become much more difficult as a result. Sultan's challenges include opening suitable clothing and shoes, as well as squeezing into standard-sized automobiles. We all look forward to stretching out on the couch at the end of a long day, but Sultan can't stretch out as much as most people. Sultan has troubles with seats in general, as most average-sized chairs, couches, and benches are simply too low to the ground for his lengthy legs. For most people, a basketball shot entails sprinting and jumping, or at the very least a well-placed throw, but Sultan only needs to extend a little to put the ball in the hoop. Sultan's palm can comfortably fit a size 7 basketball, which is the size used in the NBA, with a circumference of 29.5 inches. Sultan was signed to the Galatasaray basketball team while he was a teenager, but he was too tall to play. He is still a basketball aficionado, and when he was in New York a few years ago, he engaged in a game for a few shots. At number 2, Harnam Kaur. Hernandez made her first appearance in the Guinness World Records in 2017 as the youngest girl with a full beard. When her record was confirmed, she was 24 years old. She's now gone on to work as a freelance model and motivational speaker, sharing her message of body acceptance and positivity. Hernandez is frequently confronted with infuriating or rude queries regarding her facial hair, as one might imagine. When asked what she's tired of hearing, she says that most, if not all of the queries revolve around her facial hair. She wishes people would ask her more personal development questions, such as how does she offer value? She wants people to ask her how to find their life's meaning. Hernandez frequently confronts prejudice or ignorance to raise awareness of her condition. Many folks suffer from the same medical issues that she does. Women with facial hair are not uncommon. Hernandez was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome at the age of 12, a disorder that affects millions of women worldwide. So many women have facial hair, and they're often overlooked because it's not usual for women to have facial hair. Women are made fun of for something that is completely natural to their bodies. Hernandez believes that gender preconceptions play a huge role in how she and other women with facial hair are treated. It's hilarious that it's acceptable when it's on a male, but it's derided when it's on a woman. She resents the fact that she has to explain her body to others all the time. She believes that women's bodies are heavily regulated. Her beard will fade, and her physical looks will deteriorate, but her message will endure. Hernandez has taken a long time to get where she is now, despite her strong message and no-nonsense attitude, because self-love and acceptance is a lifelong journey. She used to disguise herself by wearing tracksuits or her brother's clothes, and she still does so on occasion since she doesn't want to deal with people's attitudes. Hernandez's trip to New York, however, was a watershed moment for her. She spoke in front of tens of thousands of people at World Pride NYC. It was huge for her to look like this and have hundreds of people applauding for her. She realized that she could now deliver her message. Hernandez's message of self-love is essentially about letting others realize that they're not alone in whatever they're going through. She encourages people to appreciate their own beauty in whatever shape it may take. One of the benefits of Hernandez's beard is that it ensures she only has accepting individuals in her life. At number 1, Jeff Dabe. Fans have given Jeff Dabe of Minnesota the nickname Popeye, as he strives to become the world arm wrestling champion. The enormous forearms of the American wrestler measure 19 inches in circumference, and his hands are large enough to hold a basketball in each hand. Dabe's arms are so unusually huge that tests were conducted to try to figure out what causes them to be so large, since images showed that he was born with disproportionately large limbs. The University of Minnesota ran testing to see if there was any evidence of gigantism or elephantiasis, but the results showed that this was not the case. Given his large arms, it was only logical that he would engage in arm wrestling even as a kid. As a senior in his high school, he competed in arm wrestling. Popeye was given the name by his followers at the time. After a promising start in the sport, Jeff's right arm was popped during a competition in 1986, forcing him to retire early. In 2012, however, Jeff wanted to return to serious competition, this time using his left arm. He then went on to win the state championship, even earning him a spot in the World Arm Wrestling League circuit. He was always good at arm wrestling, but many were surprised at first by the size of his hands. He had the strength to back it up. When people see his hands in person, they go crazy. If you got it, flaunt it, as the old phrase goes, and Jeff has certainly made the most of his natural advantages. All these people are special in their own way. I must say, I admire Hernandez the most because it must be extremely difficult to be accepted by others who discriminate at the slightest difference they see. Which one did you appreciate the most? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? Well, that's our countdown of 14 people with strangely unusual body features. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the fun. Click on the notification icon so you can see our new videos as soon as they're uploaded. That's it for now.